What's up, gente? Welcome to Stan Sports and Café con Liga, our weekly preview show of what happens every round in La Liga. Match day 2 is over, and we saw Real Madrid picking up the points at Celta. We saw Barca finally firing, this time at Real Sociedad, and of course Atleti losing big time at home to Villarreal. Bit of a crazy game week. Sevilla still struggling. 8 red cards we saw in La Liga, and talking about some of the games, I think the biggest headline for me is the way Barca played because, the first game against Rayo, they couldn't perform well. They had all these new players gelling, and I think Xavi went a little bit rogue in their visit to San Sebastian, of course. He started with this kind of 3-5-2 formation, or if you want to call it 3-2-4-1, with Lewandowski up front. 3 at the back with Eric Garcia coming back into the team with Christensen and Araujo. Very young back line, very inexperienced. But they managed it, and Gavi with Frankie de Jong kind of holding midfielders. Then new roles for kind of Ferran Torres behind the striker, Pedri pulling the strings, having an amazing game. And I think the biggest surprise, Balde as a kind of left wing back. On the other side, we saw Dembele. They were also kind of switching during the game. But of course, Lewandowski grabbing 2 goals. He needed those 2 goals to kind of get his confidence up. We know what kind of striker he is. He's going to add goals to this Barca team regardless. He just needed to score that one. Against Rayo, he had a great chance that went in and it got chucked off after that. But this time, no problem for the Polish man to get off to a good start. And, the game that we saw from Ansu Fati as well, amazing, unbelievable player. This guy is going to be at the center of what Barca are trying to do. I think he came in for Ferran Torres and he basically directed everything. Giving Lewandowski some assists. Just wearing that number 10 proudly and showing that, whenever Ansu Fati is fit, he's just the star of that team. And regardless of, all the names around him, I think the future Barcelona is built around Ansu Fati, and that boy has so much talent. He's showing, we know him as a winger, kind of cutting in, scoring goals, but in a kind of deeper role and assisting, that's something new that we see from him, and just shows how versatile the young Spanish international is. World Cup on the horizon for him. Hopefully he can be fit and participate in that, because Spain missed him at the Euros, and given the good tournament that they had, if they added him to the squad, they can go very far. So yeah, positives for Barcelona. On the other side, Real Sociedad won on the first day. Kubo, great debut. But this time a little bit disappointing. Just that goal from Isak, there was a little bit of a rebound as well. But they're gonna have a big season this season. I think top 4 is gonna be wide open. Sevilla has started poorly. They couldn't win at home again. This time against Valladolid, 1 point from 2 games. We know what happened at Osasuna, the curtain raiser for La Liga last round. So I think they're gonna drop out of that top 4, or there's big chance of them dropping out. They're gonna have to replace Diego Carlos and Jules Koundé, and it's no easy feat, because that was the center of their ideology, not just defensively but offensively. The way they progressed the ball, they started their attacks, and Julian Lopetegui, I think, is under a bit of pressure. I kind of gave a prediction at the beginning of the season. I think he might be one of the first managers that we see go. Not because I don't think he's a good manager. It's just I think he's become a little bit stale now with him. I think he was more of expected. He's kind of underwhelmed a little bit. More of expected with Sevilla last season to go and challenge for the title, to go all the way in the Europa League at least. He's not in the Champions League, but towards the end of the season they just tailed off, couldn't get a win away from home, and they started the season the same way. They've signed some new signings now, a young French defender, also Marçal, so maybe they can gel and provide some solidity at the back, but I think they're going to struggle this season. Let's talk about Real Madrid, because going away to Celta, always a tricky fixture, even though they won their last couple of times there. But I think the main thing was Casemiro leaving, right? Carlos Enrique Casemiro, one of the main stays in that Bermuda Triangle, as Carlo Ancelotti said it, in the midfield. But you know how Real Madrid does, when a good offer comes in, it doesn't matter who you are, they're ready to cash in if they think that the player is at their optimal kind of value compared to age, and that's what happened to Casemiro. So they cashed in, I think, 80 million euros total with the bonuses and everything from Man United. It was too good of an offer. It was already kind of speculation that Casemiro might leave soon because of their signing of Tchouaméni earlier in the summer. He was talked to be kind of in the mold of Casemiro, even though he's not the same player, but I think we're going to see him deployed in that kind of holding role a lot. Of course, Camavinga making his second start of the season, impressing at Celta, and I think we're going to see a lot more of him this season. He's deserved it, to be fair, with getting some amazing performances in that deep run into the Champions League, and he's a great player. He's had his first season bedding in kind of in La Liga, getting minutes, and now a lot's gonna be expected of him. Same with Tchouaméni as well. Two of the future of the French national team. Talking about World Cup, they're gonna be there vying to be in that French squad. So a lot of positive for Real Madrid. Of course, Benzema scoring from the spot as he always does. Hazard missing though. One of the kind of bad news from that win. Luka Modric showing his class once again. What a goal from Luka Modric, the guy that keeps on giving, doesn't get old. And Alaba and Militao at the back looked solid. I think we're gonna see that rotation with the way that Real Madrid play and with the options that they have with Rudiger now. We're gonna see kind of those three interchange. I think Alaba is gonna be deployed at left back at some point. There's options. The only thing, as we say always, up front, because Benzema and Vinicius are golden. If any one of them gets injured, then I think Real Madrid are in a bit of trouble, especially with Eden Hazard not being as convincing as he can be, in other recent times. But good win for Real Madrid. Of course, they pick up 2 from 2. You can't blame them for anything. They concede goals. You can say that. They conceded against Almeria. Same here against Celta, even though it was a penalty. But I think they're gonna just keep on going as they did from last season. Villarreal picking up the points at the Metropolitano, the Civitas Metropolitano, as the naming has changed for the stadium, and very impressed with Villarreal. They started the season again 2 wins out of 2. Emery's men look hungry, look like they're gonna be vying for that top 4 spot, and Jeremy Moreno scoring again. Yeremy Pino took his goal well, very young. We know how he had his breakout season last year, and this year he's gonna keep on growing. That's why some of the players have been let go to kind of lessen the competition. I think like Moy Gomez, players like that, and I think with Jose Morales up front as a rotation player. They've been solid in defense. Now they don't have the distraction of the Champions League this season, Villarreal. So I think they really are going to go for it. They have the Europa Conference League, but we know how that competition is. I think they're not going to have trouble continuing without that kind of deterring their league position. So great win. I think that was what Emery was struggling with last season. Going away from home, always trying to get a result, but getting a draw and kind of being very defensive. This year he's showing that he can do it, just like he did in Europe, just like he did at the Juventus Stadium in Munich against Bayern. He's doing the same things, or he's going to be trying to be doing the same things, and that was a big declaration at the Metropolitano. Atleti, after their good start in Café in the Madrid derby, disappointing, and at the end of the day, bad scenes. There was a red card from Molina. Then Moreno was celebrating his goal as he always does, but the Atleti fans got a little rumbled, and Oblak got involved. I think some Atleti fans were calling for Griezmann. Mario Hermoso, some altercation with the fans. Not a good scene to see for Atleticos. But let's see how Cholo manages this season. I don't like Axel Witsel at the middle of the defense. Savic is injured now. He's gonna be out for a few weeks, and Molina with a red card. So it's gonna be a difficult season, I think, for Atleti, or at least the start, because we know how they started last season and how weak they were defensively. If they do the same thing this year, it's gonna be long season for Atleti. But let's hope that this was a blip and they're gonna be back to performing. Of course, Betis winning at Mallorca. Borja Iglesias, the top goal scorer in La Liga at the moment. scoring 2 goals from 2 penalties, and Murici scoring for Mallorca. Mallorca impressing, even though they lost this game, they picked up a point at San Mamés in the first round, and again showing that they're gonna have some fighting spirit with Vasco at the helm. Betis though, you can't fault them. Continuing the great form they were last season. Another team that gonna be fighting for Champions League this season. And of course, they still have the Europa League to enjoy as well. Valencia lost to San Mamés. I watched them here at the Mestalla. I'm currently in Valencia, so I watched them against Girona. They very hard fought win. They were men down for over 60 minutes, but away at San Mamés. I think the logical thing happened after Athletic lost their first game. They were looking to, get the points, get the fans back on their side with Alex Berenguer scoring the only goal. And I think Valencia is also going to have difficult seasons. Let's see. There's some transfers that might be happening. Brian Hill is talked about to be returning on loan from Tottenham. He's going to, boost those attacking options for them. And of course, the big one, Edinson Cavani. They need a number 9. They have Hugo Duro that they kind of signed up officially this summer from Getafe, but Maxi Gomez is not, I think, at the level, and they need goals in that team because players like Lino, like Samuel Castillejo, they're good, they're wingers, but they need someone to be finishing those chances and not relying on players like Soler to be scoring all year. But let's see, Gattuso back at home next week against Atletico, and let's see if he can pick up those 3 points. Like we said, a lot of red cards, 8 red cards in total. Espanyol and Rayo had 2, 1 each. Sevilla and Valladolid had 1 each. Rayo picking up the points at Espanyol and kind of, proving that their first game at the Camp Nou was no luck. They haven't conceded yet, and they now have 4 points. Good start again for them, like last season. Hopefully they can do what they did last season when they at some point they had the best home record in Europe. Rayo, and don't forget they just came up last year, so big feat for the team from Vallecas in Madrid, and let's see if they can continue that good form going into the third round. And of course, Elche Almeria, yesterday they drew 1-1, 1 point apiece, and Girona trashing Getafe 3-1. I think Girona is going to do really well this season. Christian Stuani back in the big time with a goal. And I think Enes Unal, to be fair, he scored a goal and he had another one disallowed. So he could have got a little more ropey for Girona. But, they're a La Liga team. They're a La Liga team. They deserve to be in the first division. And I think that's it. Osasuna, another win at home, 2 in a row for them. I really like Arasate's team, Chimi Avila again scoring from the spot with Kiki Garcia, the other goal. Osasuna is a solid team, when they're at home at El Sadar, great atmosphere. They have a style of play. They've signed well. Moy Gomez, I think it's a great addition. And they're going to be building, and who knows, if they have an opportunity to maybe get involved and fight for that 7th place for the Europa Conference League, why not? I think, like I said, at home, very solid team, and away they grabbed some wins. Last year I sold them a few times, and every time I sold them live, they were winning. They won here at Mestalla, they won in Vallecas against Rayo. So watch out for this Osasuna. The next round, Real Madrid is going to Espanyol. That's their 3rd straight away game, because we know Bernabeu is still under renovation, so they're not going to be hosting games until I think the 4th round, which would be in the beginning of September. Big derby, as we said, Valencia Atletico Madrid on Monday night. That's going to be interesting. And Barca hosting another promoted team in Valladolid. Girona against Ceuta, Betis against Osasuna, Rayo Mallorca, Elche Real Sociedad, and Cádiz Athletic Club. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining Café con Liga. We're gonna be doing this weekly and reviewing every single match day of the Spanish football. Make sure to subscribe to Stan Sports so you don't miss a video, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.